CBS News national security analyst Juan Zarate is in Washington. Good morning, Juan. You heard the president say it's a cruel and bitter truth that in the fog of war, generally mistakes, serious, deadly mistakes occur. How extraordinary, though, is it to hear the president acknowledge these mistakes, take responsibility, and then say he's going to have them disclosed?
Well, I think it's an important part of the disclosures, and it is remarkable that the president would do this. These kinds of strikes are often shrouded in secrecy. Certainly the targets of them often not known to the American public. And certainly the president admitting a mistake like this in the wake of the strikes and the tragic death of the two hostages is pretty remarkable. But as David mentioned, I think this is now going to foment a review of the targeted strikes that are happening. The president had already put in place stricter standards, a near certainty standard with respect to civilian casualties. That obviously didn't work here. And so I think the president is going to take another look at the targeted strike programs in places like Pakistan and Afghanistan. And keep in mind that these are programs that are continuing. I think a reminder here is that these are strikes that are happening even though they don't reach the headlines until you have an announcement like this. And this implicates not just Pakistan, but venues like Yemen, North Africa, and East Africa. And so this has implications well beyond this particular incident.
It may very well put the drone attacks at risk.
It could, Charlie. It could put greater restrictions on both the evidence that goes into picking particular targets as well as the protocols for what goes into place. And it will stoke yet again the debate about who should be running these programs. Should it be the CIA? Should it be the military? And what standards are applied more stringently? And of course, you're going to hear more from countries that are affected. Pakistan has frequently objected, at least in public, about these types of strikes. And so you may see some diplomatic ripple effects as well.
But one, it not just puts the drone strikes under review, it also puts the hostage policy under review, does it not? I mean, Warren Weinstein's family was very critical of the White House. In the statement they released, they said, we hope this finally prompts the U.S. government to take its responsibilities seriously. They say that the government wasn't communicating with hostage families, something we've heard before.
You're absolutely right, Jeff, and this feeds into the hostage policy review that the White House had already announced in the wake of the Syrian hostage crises. And I think it will raise the question as to whether or not only is the government doing enough to communicate with families, are they doing enough to find where the hostages are and to protect their lives? And in this case, obviously, as the president has announced, the U.S. government didn't know the hostages were there. They had identified these locations as critical al-Qaeda safe houses and operational zones, and that's why they took the strike. But clearly the families of the hostages are not going to be happy, and it will further fuel the debate around our hostage policy review.
And Juan, again, the president acknowledging hundreds of hours of surveillance, and yet they didn't know who was inside those targets. Is that going to raise questions about our intelligence gathering?
It will. It will ask the question, do we have enough on-the-ground presence in addition to eyes in the sky? And the question is, how much information is enough? Do we have to have 100% surety or some level of ambiguity okay in a program like this? And I think that balance between risk on the side of action and the risk on the side of inaction will come to the fore yet again.
Warren, thank you so much.